Thank you so much for returning from break. Good evening, Honorable Adams, our witness. Under oath.
Chair, sorry, exigence. The honorable member can wear a cap inside the house.
Yeah, we're still coming to that.
No, you're already questioning him with the cap inside the house. Well, that's why we should have started.
Yes.
I'm under the impression that I'm not an honorable member when I sit here, Chair. I'm but a witness.
Honorable Adams, you are still under oath, isn't it?
If I'm instructed by the benevolent Chair to remove the hat, I will do so.
Yeah, listen to me. You are still under oath, isn't it?
Yes, Chairperson, I am.
And you are appearing before us as a witness, isn't it?
Yes, Chairperson, I am.
And that does not take away the fact that you have been sworn in as a member of this National Assembly on the 14th of June, 2024, isn't it?
So just to confirm, Chairperson, the reason I did not argue the point raised by Honorable Nombalo was because he's an attorney and I'm not. It was made clear to me that when I sit here on this side of the table, I am not an honorable member of this house. But for the sake of argument and time, Chairperson, I will remove that. That is part of an anti-bullying campaign. Thank you, Chairperson.
It's not for the sake of avoiding arguments or for the sake of progress. The people that you brought here, when you introduced them the last time you appeared before us, you said these are the people who are your family relatives, and some of them are members of your party, isn't it?
They are all members of this party, Chair.
Yes. So you carry that heavy responsibility and obligation to represent them to their satisfaction.
I am in no way arguing with the Chairperson. I was just stating the facts that were said in the last meeting. But thank you, Chairperson. The point is taken in good spirit. Thank you.
Yeah. Honorable members, Honorable Adams, our witness is here. And let me also greet the South Africans who have accompanied you here, who at all times give you their unconditional support. We want to thank you so much for your presence. Can I check honorable members who want to ask Honorable Adams questions? I see Honorable Vessels, Honorable Chopper, Honorable Kolabanat, Honorable Sols, Honorable Matthews, Honorable James, Honorable Ngango, Honorable Ngola, Honorable Sanguni, Honorable Skosan. Your hand is not up, Honorable Sokanyila. Your hand is not up, Honorable Nombalo.
I'm giving my time to Honorable.
Yeah, you have to raise your hand so that we recognize you and allocate your time.
Okay.
And then when we have allocated you, you can give it to Honorable Skosana. So because if you don't raise the hand, you are going to forfeit.
No problem. My hand is up.
Can I check? Honorable members from the ANC, how many minutes do you need?
2 minutes. 2.
Okay, together 30 minutes, Chair.
You need 30 minutes combined.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Honorable members from the MKP. $30 minutes combined. Okay. Honorable members from the Democratic Alliance.
Thank you, Chair. 2020.
You need 2020. You mean 40 minutes combined? Okay, honorable vessels.
Chair, I think 10 minutes will suffice.
10 minutes will be fine with you. Honorable Nwango,
20.
20.
Thank you.
Honorable Matthews,
20, Chair, for both.
so it's 40 minutes.
Mm-mm.
Or
Or EFF.
combined.
Mhm.
Honorable Sols,
30.
you need 30 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's now 3 minutes after 20 hours. So by 9 o'clock, the ANC.
Chair,
Oh, Honorable James,
again,
yes.
forget about me.
How much time do you need, my dear?
Thank you. 20 minutes, please.
20 minutes.
Thank you.
Yes, by 9 o'clock, the speakers from the MKP and the ANC should be done. Hello, Honorable Noval.
Oh, I'm saying, Chair, within these 30 minutes, Honorable Souls must tell us how much is for preaching, how much is for motivation, and how much is for questions.
Yeah, and before, I mean, let me prepare the honorable members to also be ready to say hallelujah, praise the Lord.
Yes. You see, when you come to experiences of spiritual things,
Yeah,
time doesn't matter.
it does. No, I agree 100% with you.
Honorable Nomvalo must just release. He must
That
just-
is spiritual food,
Yes.
reinvigorating.
In my time.
Yes,
Yeah?
yeah,
Yeah. So I hope he's answered now.
yeah. Are you starting, Honorable Nwala? You can start.
Thank you very much, Chair.
It's now 5 minutes past 8.
Good evening, Mr. Adams, and welcome back. Look, there is no doubt that what you experienced is something so unprecedented. It's something that we have never heard of. It's actually shocking. That's why you say at first, at first you didn't even know what to do with the information. And there is no doubt that it's something you're going to remember for the rest of your life. How come you forget the date when it happened?
Honorable member, it's a real pity my wife is not here tonight. Because she could tell you I forget my children's birthdays, and there are days I walk around in the house and then they tell me, do you know it's your birthday today? I'm terrible with dates. I'm terrible with small details. I do understand where you're going, but trust me when I tell you in all honesty, I do not remember the date.
I'm sure you sometimes even forget your birthday.
I actually forget my birthday every year.
Okay, now let's take you to paragraph 9 and paragraph 8. In your statement, yes. So, you say in paragraph 8 that you decided to hand over the information to SAPS. But to paragraph 9, on paragraph 9, you say you decided not to hand over the evidence. But later in your statement also, you would have handed over the information to someone from the state security agents. It's quite confusing from where I'm seated. To whom was the information handed over?
Chief, initially, when I walked to the police station, I walked from Parliament, I thought to myself, I'm not going to hand these documents to the constable, the sergeant, or whoever's going to take the case. Because one of it is marked top secret. Thinking to myself, I'm going to give it to the investigating officer when he contacts me, so we can shorten the line of people that know what's in this docket. But then when I was tipped off to the fact that my dockets had gone missing, I decided I wasn't going to give it to SAPS. I was going to, well, not right then, but when the IG contacted me, when the IGI contacted me, I decided this is where my information is going to go. And I must tell you, in all honesty, it wasn't because I thought or knew that this was the right place to leave the documents. It was just, I literally wanted these documents off my hands, but I didn't want to give it to just anybody, if you follow me.
Okay. Now, you get this information and you rightfully say that you got confused to an extent you did not know how to handle this information. And with a possibility that this information may also be fraudulent. So when did you decide that it's an authentic report?
I didn't. Remember, I handed it to the IGI for further investigation because I had this feeling in the back of my mind, man, that somebody wants me to run to the newspapers with this. And I'm thinking to myself, but what if it's fraudulent? What if it ends up with egg all over my face? For this reason, I kept it quiet at the time.
So you have got your friend Lincoln. Is it Lincoln? Your friend?
Andre Lincoln, Major General Andre.
Yeah.
Lincoln.
Was he working in the Western Cape or the Cape Town Central Police Station?
I actually would not be able to tell you. What I can confirm is he was the first head of the AGU. He was a very bitter man because they had been promised the type of resources allocated to the PKTT, and then the plug was pulled. So he was very bitter towards the SAPS.
So how does he get to know when, by who, and how were your dockets collected from the police station?
I would have no clue, sir.
And you did not ask?
I did ask.
Okay, let's go to the IGI. The IGI calls you and asks you about your cases. Does he tell you how he knows that you have opened cases?
No, sir, he does not disclose
He
that.
doesn't tell you. Are you people generally who called each other even before the incident?
If you had to ask me the day before who the IGI was, I wouldn't be able to tell you. We've never called each other before.
Okay. Did you know the information contained in the reports you received from the door?
I actually wouldn't be able to answer that. But what he did say to me is, I have an interest in the cases that you've laid. My office, rather, that I think I'm quoting him. And that was it for me.
So it did not strike you that at least you must be aware whether did the IGI get your contacts? How did he get your contacts? Because in the usual course of events, he will say, I am Xola Ngola, the Inspector General of Intelligence. I got your number from Kusela Sangoni. I'm calling you in respect of this. I got a briefing from so-and-so that you would have found yourself in this situation.
I would love to encourage you, my brother, to think a little bit more of our intelligence services. They have their ways and means of extracting information, like telephones, like emails. The IGI found my number. Maybe if, like Honorable Malema is insisting he gets an opportunity to sit here in this chair, he can tell us how. It's actually, I'd actually also like to know. I don't know how we got my number. And you know what the funny thing is that I don't think I was using the state-sanctioned WhatsApp at the time. I wasn't using the phone that was given to us. So that's actually quite an interesting question.
You're not using the Parliament one?
No, I don't use that for WhatsApp because I'm told that those things are hackable.
Do you know why the IGI was suspended by the president?
No, maybe the president will tell us.
You are not aware?
I'm not aware
of why you were suspended. Now, you receive a call from a lieutenant colonel checking you about your cases and wanting to meet you. So you say you successfully avoided meeting him because you were suspicious. So maybe you can, because in the paragraph you don't specify why were you suspicious of this police officer. And you say you were later vindicated. How were you vindicated?
So I've laid charges. The dockets are collected. We've now established that it was in a safe somewhere. So there was no intention from the SAPS to investigate. So now a lieutenant colonel calls me telling me he's going to investigate. Now, why I felt vindicated is because according to the SAP's structure, a lieutenant colonel does not investigate a general. So even if this guy was a genuine lieutenant colonel, he didn't have the authority to conduct an investigation. And for this reason, whenever he called me, I just palmed him off politely. No, man, I'm in Joburg. I'm sorry, I'm stuck in committee all week. And I just gave him, because he called a few times, I just gave him an excuse every time until he went away.
Okay. I've never seen a grabber. At what times does a grabber become redundant? What did you actually mean?
You know, technology is a very funny thing. It evolves consistently.
Yeah.
Like an iPhone 6 is no longer in use because it's obsolete. So the grabber that was purchased by crime intelligence, by Dumisani Kumalo, mind you, they bought an obsolete see the construction work in me is coming out, obsolete grabber. They bought a 4G grabber in the 5G era. But I have a suspicion that they knowingly bought that 4G grabber. I have a suspicion that they never intended to buy something at work. Because if you look at what the rumors are that the price was so inflated, I think they just bought a grabber for the sake of buying a grabber so they could loosen some money. That is what my suspicion is, but it's not something I can confirm. Like General Mkwanazi would say, I thought to myself.
Do you know which year was this grabber?
I actually do have the date written. It's either in my office or at home, but I do, and I can supply it to the.
Not just the year. You said you are not good with dates.
I'm terrible with dates. Terrible.
Was it not 2017?
I don't want to lie. It could be, but like I said.
Was the evidence that we have here is that there was an attempt to buy a grabber by crime intelligence in 2017, but the grabber finally was not bought.
You know,
there are a lot of issues here, they say.
You know, Honorable Nolak, because I'm speaking under oath, I don't want to feed you the wrong information. So if I do have the chairperson's email, I can mail him the date first thing in the morning.
Yes, please, please do. Chair, no further questions. Thank you.
Honorable Sangwan.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Mr. Adams, tell me, now that you've delivered your testimony, when all is said and done, what do you want us to take out of it?
I would like for this committee to just look at the facts. Don't take my word for anything. Look at the facts that I've supplied. Look at the facts that the accusing team have supplied and make a reasonable judgment and make reasonable recommendations. But I would like this committee to understand that at the very top of the South African police services, there's a cabal so corrupt, it threatens all of us. All of us. Honorable Kola Barnard, who I must admit I don't have much of a liking for, but she spent 25 years in this parliament doing her best. For a man to go on national TV and accuse her almost of being part of a cartel and then offering no evidence, that was defamation under oath.
Okay, let's sorry, I'm going to push you because of time. Let's look at these facts that you say we must look at. Now, the accusing team, I learned a new term today. I'm assuming that you and Ms. Mashale are part of the accusing team.
No, you're the accused.
Oh, are you the accused? Okay. Now that we've clarified that, Ms. Mashale says the information was not classified. You say it was classified. Which is it?
I thought parts of it were classified. Patricia wouldn't know any better because I never showed her the information. And I do think that she's trying to protect me somewhat, which you know what I love about her. But if I must tell you,
how does that help us? Because you said we must look at the facts. She had exactly the same information that you had. She says it's not classified. You say it's classified. Okay, how do you know it was classified?
There was on the one document, it was written top secret.
Okay. And now I'm trying to go to the facts now. One of the criminal documents you opened related to the abuse of the Secret Service account by Lieutenant General Khumalo, who you accuse of channeling funds of the PKTT. How much did he channel or siphon, or whatever the word is, and how did he do this?
You know, honorable member, if you look at The 2021 uprising in KZN, when General Mkwanazi and then the Minister of
Really?
Defense, I forget her name now.
Nosiviwe Ngakula?
There we go. They were having a hell of a spat, and it was ugly and it was public. And General Mkwanazi accuses her of staying at a 5-star hotel.
Honorable Abrams, my question is.
No,
you
I'm getting to it.
General Kumalo of siphoning funds.
I'm getting to it.
Mhm.
Then the general accuses the whole minister of staying at a 5-star hotel, as if it's illegal. But the PKTT is staying at 5-star hotels. And I'm telling you that this is one of the ways where they're siphoning money. So if you're asking me for a total, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a forensic examiner. I'm not even an investigator. I'm asking this committee to look at it. I'm asking the committee to summons the ledgers.
Okay, you can assist us with evidence that they were staying against government regulations, I'm assuming you mean.
Yes.
Okay. Then you say the PKTT is a private service of former Minister Ele. Can you substantiate why you made that allegation?
100%. So earlier I heard testimony, it was the Raptor's testimony that the PKTT did not do the raid on Vusikat Matlala's house. The leader of that raid was in actual fact Lieutenant Colonel Kumalo from the PKTT. So I believe, and I believe that investigation will prove, that the PKTT is being used by former Minister Cele
No,
to
no,
bully
no.
people.
Mr. Adams, you've opened dockets, right? So I want to know, when you're making these allegations, what evidence are you relying on?
I never opened a docket saying that the PKTT is being used as I never opened that docket.
Part of the dockets which accompanied Lieutenant General Mkwanazi's affidavit, where he lists each and every single docket that you put there.
So because General Mkwanazi says that it's a fact,
Okay, what did you then in your docket indicate?
just show me the page number, please, ma'am.
I'm not sure if you have Lieutenant General Mkwanazi's
I do.
affidavit.
I do.
Okay, I will tell you the page number now as soon as I find it.
Somewhere. Brought quite a bit of paper with me. Just give me Mkwanazi's document.
If you look at page 3 of 8, it's the complaint. Okay, I don't have the pagination now. I can share it with you. But he says Orlando case number, and then he writes it out. There you spoke about Major General Dondo failing a polygraph. The next one, you accused General Kumalo of the Secret Service account. The next one, you said General Kumalo was involved in a cover-up of Valeria. And then you then said General Kumalo and Major General Lushaba are utilizing funds to purchase vehicles. Now, do you have any evidence to base any of these allegations?
I don't want to delve into the merits of the case, but all the evidence that I had pertaining to those dockets were handed
You
to the
have
IG.
evidence.
I handed it all to the IG. All of it.
So you said that, and I'm quoting here, that in a civilized country, if I could find it, in a civilized country, if Lieutenant General Mkwanazi did what he did, going around and speaking on things without evidence, it would have been dismissed or something to that effect. Why must we take you differently from Lieutenant General Mkwanazi? Because you come here and then you just say.
Don't take me differently. Take the judge who signed off on the arrest warrants differently. Because Kumalo is in court. Madondo is in court.
So you came to have evidence of all of this?
I gave the evidence to the IG. I don't know how the IDAC got it, but what I can tell you is everybody in this room knows that General Kumalo was arrested.
Okay. On paragraph 25, you said General Mkwanazi would have been dismissed. Oh, sorry. On paragraph 45, you say no one disagreed with the disbandment of the PKTT, and here you're referring to the Police Portfolio Committee. No one disagreed with the disbandment of the PKTT until a reason was needed to attempt to complete the capture of SAPS. What do you mean by that?
Exactly what I say, ma'am. I was in the Police Portfolio Committee. Honorable Skosana was in that committee. Honorable James was in that committee. Honorable Kola Barnard was in that committee. And the disbandment of the PKTT was read to us as a fact. General Kumalo brought the presentation. There was not one word mentioned against it by anyone, including Mkwanazi. until they needed a reason to call a press conference. Now, please understand, when General Kumalo says that we've had one politically motivated killing in KZN this year, and therefore he essentially says the PKTT has come to the end of its life, I accept it as a fact. Mkwanazi, on the other hand, feels different.
So are you saying that the portfolio committee, as well as these generals, then got a reason to complete the capture of SAPS? I'm confused.
Not the portfolio committee.
Okay.
What was the reason for the 6th of July press conference? It was according to General Mkwanazi himself, because the National Commissioner was at the gates of prison. It was to defeat the ends of justice, if he was telling the truth. This is what I'm saying. It's about the capture of the SAPS. It had nothing to do with the PKTT. The PKTT had been agreed upon in portfolio in front of all of us that it was no longer
So you think Minister Mkhunu was correct to disband the PKTT?
I think that the minister may have overreached. I think he should have discussed it with the IMC, which I didn't think at the time. But I'm willing to concede that because I was in full support of the minister. However, there was no disagreement on the disbandment of the PKTT.
Okay. Do you know Mr. Cedric Ngabinde?
I've met him.
Before or after you wrote to the minister?
I walked into Mr. Nkabende in the road outside here. Must have been a few weeks after.
So you didn't know him before the
I never met the man before.
Okay, now on your annexures, and I do apologize, I don't have them in front of me now, where you emailed the minister, where did you get the minister's email from? Email address?
If I don't want to lie, I'm almost sure that I got 3 emails from General Lincoln, and then he called me and told me the first one doesn't work. I think it was 3, but I think I sent it to 2 emails, I think.
Okay, so you emailed minister at 8:21, and then 4 minutes later you emailed Ngabinde. So what happened in those 2 minutes? Who did you talk to?
No. Nothing happened in between those few minutes. I got the email addresses from General Lincoln in the evening. And the morning he called me and said to me, that first email doesn't work. And then I sent to the other 2.
Okay, now why did you go to IDEC and not IPID again?
IPID is toothless and useless. How many cases have they refused to investigate? How many recommendations have they not made?
Why was this within the mandate of IDEC, according to you?
I didn't know if it was in the mandate of the IDEC. I'm testing anyone and everyone. And if IDEC didn't get back to me, I'd have mailed the FBI if I needed to, but we needed action on this thing.
But you chose not to go to IPID?
No.
Okay. So General Lincoln informed you that dockets were missing in the Western Cape. Who notified you in Gauteng?
General Lincoln again.
Oh, he also has access to Gauteng.
That man was a legend in the service.
What exactly did he do?
People respect Mr. General Lincoln for being who he was, for risking his life to fight for those of us sitting here today.
So what was his role that he could access such information?
I have no clue.
Very convenient though, Mr. Adams.
Why is it convenient, ma'am?
No, because General Lincoln is not here to give us this information. Right?
I don't know if this is going to come as a surprise to you, but all of us will die. All of us.
So tell me, you said, okay, 2 days or 3 days after you messaged the minister, you contacted IDEC. Who did you contact at IDEC and how did you get this person?
I was given the number by General Lincoln. He did not give me a name. He just gave me a number. It was a female. I did not ask for a name. I said that I need someone to contact me. I'm a member of parliament. This is my number.
Okay, you had very scathing remarks to say about General Mkwanazi and the 21 July unrest. You said he took leave. How long was this leave?
I don't know how long paternity leave is. I've never taken paternity leave. Where I'm from, when your baby is born, you leave work, you go and check if the child has 10 fingers, 10 toes, you make sure it's got the family nose, and you go back to work. That's what I'm understood. That's how I understand it.
Are you from KZN with a wife from the Eastern Cape?
I'm from the Cape Flats, ma'am.
Okay, let me finish my question, if you don't mind.
Yes.
General Mkwanazi testified that his wife gave birth in KwaZulu-Natal. She is from the Eastern Cape. He drove through the night, took her home, where we come from, that's what you do, Now, he went back to work, having checked the nose the following day. Now, that's why I'm asking you, when you come here and you say he took leave, what do you have that is contrary to what General Mkhwanazi said?
I'm not, you're gonna have to argue with Minister Nkula, because she's the one that says that they
It's
were
very
interpretable.
convenient that when you ask direct questions, somebody else is responsible for what you're saying,
If
not
I
you.
was the defense minister at the time, I'd give you a direct answer. I wasn't. She's the one that was struggling to get a hold of Mkhwanazi. And also, if he drove through the night, that was one night. The case in unrest went on for weeks.
And he
Weeks.
testified that he was there. He wasn't gone for weeks.
Ma'am,
Okay, can you direct us, and hopefully this might be my last question. Which policy says that crime intelligence buildings can only be used by crime intelligence officials?
just a second. I actually do have the documentation here with me. But there is a policy on the purchase of buildings and the use of them. I've got a lot of documents here, but I did actually bring it with me. Just give me 1 minute.
No problem.
One second, Chairperson. Excuse me. I know I'm using your time, Honorable Member.
It's all right. We've waited long enough to have you sitting there, Honorable A.
That was all the fault of management. I never ducked this committee once, only because I don't have to. Chairperson, here's quite a lengthy document explaining all of what the honorable members asked. May I give it to you so you can just hand it over to the rest of the committee? It's quite a lengthy document. If I start reading now, I'm going to use all of your time. Thank you.
Okay, and then my last question to you, you said that
Thank you, Chief.
on paragraph 25.1, under oath, General Mkhwanazi claimed he would arrest Minister Bheki Cele if he committed crime. Minutes later, he accused Mr. Cele of trying to draw him into his own wrongdoing in spite of admitting to this house, blah, blah, blah. No docket against Mr. Cele, what. So basically here, the accusation is that General Mkhwanazi is favoring Bheki Cele or protecting him, shielding him. What is this wrongdoing that you think that General Mkhwanazi should have arrested Bheki Cele for?
I wish General Mkhwanazi had told us, because he said he tried to draw me into his wrongdoing, and that's when I distanced myself from him, and that is a quote.
But is trying to draw somebody into wrongdoing, does it necessarily mean it's a criminal offense?
I don't know of any wrongdoing that is not criminal unless you're under 18.
Well, I don't know, because General Mkhwanazi apologized for having implicated Mr. Cele in getting money somewhere. Now you are expecting a document to be opened and you put this in your statement. Document for what? Because that would be a crime that you're alleging.
If I am the Provincial Commissioner of KZN and I'm accusing the minister, a whole minister of wrongdoing, it will be in a written grievance or a case number.
Or it could be a boys' trip, like he was telling us that they took boys' trips. Would that not be wrongdoing?
Maybe then
How do you come to the conclusion?
Maybe then the general
It should be a crime.
Maybe then the general should clarify that.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. I'm done. Thank you, Honorable
Thank you,
Adams.
Member.
Yali.
No, thank you, Chair.
Chairperson, Honorable Nwala said he wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, no, I will only ask 4 questions.
Tell General Mkhwanazi I say hello.
Let's go to paragraph 14 of your statement.
Paragraph
14,
14.
yeah.
Yes, Chief.
You are saying it is deeply frustrating because if the committee had been allowed to do its job, many of these issues could have been resolved. Which committee are we talking about?
The Police Portfolio Committee, honorable member.
So it has not been allowed to do its job.
I was blocked. I have tried to get truth out of these generals, and there was no assistance from the management of the committee.
You tried to do what?
I tried to get answers out of these people, out of General Masimola in particular, and it just wasn't allowed.
Answers about what?
The hotels, the cell phone grabbers, the security.
So that is
clearances.
after you opened the case, right?
Yes, Chief.
So was it necessary for them to give answers to you whilst you have opened the case? Because
No. Chief,
the matters you were asking about were under investigation.
I think you have a fair point on the hotels, but then that didn't happen when I requested the security clearances of certain generals. When I spoke about the 100 million rand Mandrax bust, that was never reported, that no longer exists. Those were the questions I was coming at.
You know, initially I was under the impression that you were not aware that the documents that you claim to have found under your door were classified. I thought you were not aware. But you've just said when you were answering Honorable Ngola, they were written top secret.
One,
One.
only one.
So why did you not take them to Parliament,
It was marked top secret.
to the committee?
No, it was marked top secret.
So when you took them to the police station, were you opening a case or you were submitting them?
No, I did not submit them.
What were you doing?
I opened the case. I was waiting for the investigating officer to contact me. Then I ran it over.
Let's go to paragraph 45. We are talking about a transgression which was endorsed by the National Commissioner.
Just hold a second, Chief, when I'm struggling with my arm, please.
And we are saying this transgression, we are calling it a transgression because we are saying it is against SAPS protocol,
It is
the media briefing.
Act 56 of, I think it's 56 of the SAPS media policy.
What does it say?
It says that you're not allowed to threaten journalists, and also you're not allowed to make claims that you cannot substantiate.
So which claims were made?
That there are political, that there are members of parliament shielding cartels,
I beg your pardon?
that there are members of parliament that are shielding cartels. It
So-
was said.
So has that not been substantiated?
No. It
What-
has not been substantiated because Mkwanazi says so doesn't make it a fact.
No, I think you must say you don't agree with what.
No,
he
it has not
said.
been
Don't-
substantiated, Chief.
Don't say it has not been substantiated.
My leader, just because you agree with it does not mean it's substantiated. No evidence was brought before.
Just because you disagree with him doesn't mean it has not been substantiated.
So we can agree to disagree.
Okay. You are saying on paragraph 32. Matlala was the cash funeral of either General Masemula or Peggy Cele, or both. What evidence do you have to prove this?
You know, Vusikat Maklala has essentially put himself in jail by admitting that he's given Bheki Cele a cash gratification.
And then with regards,
So,
to Masemula?
I don't believe you can separate Masemula and Bheki Cele. Because if you look at the logical points of it, like Honorable James said earlier, if you connect the dots, excuse me. Vusikat Matlala received this tender. The National Commissioner has admitted that he was aware of the process, but he didn't stop it.
Of which process?
That Vusikat Matlala was about to receive the tender. He's admitted it.
No, but I'm asking evidence here because we are making.
Chief, I'm connecting the dots for you. Why is it okay that Sentimule can connect dots, but Fadiel
those
Adams
dots are invisible.
No, Chief. No,
I
Chief.
don't see any dots here.
No, Chief.
Yeah, only
Why?
seen by you. Which dots are you talking about?
Chairperson,
Yeah, I'm
hold on,
asking
I'm
for
speaking to the
evidence.
chairperson. May I speak to chairperson? Chairperson, I'm going to ask that I be treated as every witness before me. The witness before me was allowed to connect the dots. I was sitting right there. The person who brought us here said, in my thoughts, in my
No,
opinion.
but-
Now I'm connecting the dots for this honorable member, and I'm asking that you allow me to do it.
No,
please.
but dots can't be imaginary.
What?
I'm
dot?
talking
Am
about-
I imagining the fact
No,
that
no,
Vusikat
I'm
Matlala received a
talking about
360 million rand
evidence.
tender?
Which
Am I
evidence?
imagining that?
Which
am
evidence?
I imagining that he got 50 million rand out of the SAPS?
Which
Am I imagining
evidence?
this?
No.
Am I imagining the fact that Masimola is the accounting officer for the SAPS?
Yeah, calm down, then I'll ask
So you got the dots. I'll calm down now.
Calm
Thank you.
down, then I'll ask you questions. I'm asking you about evidence. Which evidence do you have which suggests that Masemula benefited
answer you this way.
unduly from Mr. Matlala?
Let me answer you this way. If Masimola does not receive a gratification, why doesn't he stop this madness?
Why doesn't he?
Why doesn't he stop this madness? Why doesn't he stop the tender or the payments? Why does he allow it to flow?
No, I'm not saying you must guess here and ask
I'm
me
asking for a question, Chief. I'm
I'm
not
saying,
guessing.
do you have evidence?
I've just given you the evidence.
But do you have evidence?
Okay, I'll tell you what, Chief. Let me concede the fact that I wasn't an eyewitness. But then let me ask this portfolio
So
to
you don't have, except
Can I
these dots,
finish?
except these dots that
Honorable
you are talking
Navalo,
about.
can I finish? Can the witness talk?
The person, you can pass the mic to Honorable Skosana, thank you.
Only-
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. Adams.
Good evening to you, Honorable Leader.
Madam, you testified that you found an envelope containing documents alleged exposing criminal activity within crime intelligence that has been slipped under your office I'm not sure whether there's a carpet there. But I guess that we can get it for footage. Who has put those envelopes there? Because in our offices, there's CCTV cameras there. Am I right?
There's a camera in the passage there, and I would have thought that state security would have looked at that already.
Yeah, the chair. I think that's the first thing we should do. That we must, exactly get who put that envelope under the office of Mr. Adams. I think the secretary will have that for us. Can you tell the committee who authored those documents and how they were anticipated or verified, and why you accepted them as credible evidence before you open a criminal case?
Honorable Skosana, for the sake of time, I'm just going to refer to my previous testimony that I had no idea if these things were credible or authentic. I don't know who put it together. That is why I decided to hand it over to the right investigating body.
Yeah, but before you do that, you look at them, am I right?
I did.
Now, before you open a case, I mean, you can't just take a document because somebody said Honorable Nombal and Honorable Skosana have shot someone outside here, then you go to the police, am I right?
Yes, you can.
You'll apply your mind.
Yes, you can. It's up to the NPA to decide it is a case. That's why you open the docket.
Now,
I'll walk you through the process if you want me to.
No, I understand that. I understand very well.
But then, honorable member, don't tell me I can't do it.
No, I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm saying that if people brings envelopes in your office every day, are you going to open cases every day?
Yes, all day.
Okay. You indicated that you did not initially hand over the documents when opening the cases because you feared the information was classified. Why were you fearing the information was classified?
There was one document that was written top secret and it looked official.
Well, was it outside the envelope?
No, it was inside the envelope.
So you opened the envelope?
Yes, I opened it. I had to read it. I mean, how else am I going to know what's in there?
Yeah. Now, hence I'm asking you, you said you feared, you were afraid of looking at this document. Am I right? It's in your statement anyway.
Honorable Skosana, I am from Lavendale 7945. We are afraid of nothing.
Yeah,
I opened the thing and I feared that it might be false.
You feared that it might be false. Now, can you explain where those documents were stored and who had access to them and whether there were verifiable chain of custody existed for the committee to assess their integrity? Talking about the committee.
I'm sorry, my brother. I can't explain because I have no idea where they came from. I don't know. There's a part of me that says I can't be the only member of this house that received those documents. Because we're a two-seat party. And I'm sure that somebody slipped that documents to many, many people. Yeah, I'm just sure nobody else. Can I finish, please?
Yeah, because...
ask me a question. Can I finish, please?
Yeah,
please.
You responded already.
I'm just telling you that I think I was the only one foolish enough to see this thing through.
Now, you rely on the advice from the late General Lincoln regarding the handling of these allegations. Am I right?
If I did not take the advice of Honorable Lincoln, I would probably be in jail for sharing classified information.
When was that? On which month did you spoke to General Lincoln?
It was in the same week that I got, I think it was a day or two after.
No, when? Which month is it?
I think it was in October. It is somewhere. If you want me to search, I can, but I don't want to use your time.
October when?
Just give me 1 second, please, Chief. I do not want to perjure myself. Just please. My head and dates, we are not the best of friends. Can you just find me the first page, please, man? Please. I'll give you the date if you want to keep going, Honorable Skosana.
I'll wait for you.
Okay.
Because that's where the matter is now.
The first page. Sorry, man. Don't you have my statement as well? Oh, yeah, I got it. Sorry. Oh, sorry, I gave her the wrong documentation. It was in the last week of October
Which year?
in 2024, sir.
2024, am I right? Now, and when did you open the case?
The case numbers will give me the dates. I can share that with you. Have you got the case numbers there? Thank you. I'm looking for the case numbers. I've got it here. I didn't expect.
Okay, why you are busy? It's fine because of time. Did General Lincoln personally review the documents you received, and did he provide any written advice or corroborating evidence that supports the seriousness of these allegations?
I told General Lincoln what the documents were about, and he asked me if there was top secret in any of them, and I said yes, and he said, then don't show it to me. You'll get into trouble for that.
But you're in trouble already because you look at them as well.
I'm in trouble for receiving it.
No, I'm saying, you say, no, receiving is something else. You look at those documents, am I right?
I opened the envelope, yeah. That's what
So
we
you
do.
look at them.
So if you get an envelope in your office, you're not opening it.
No, I'm asking.
No,
I'm
I'm
saying
asking.
he said to you.
No,
But you can't ask me. Remember,
Chief,
I'm the one who's asking you.
I'm expecting you to be reasonable, but you're not.
I'm
saying
very
to you,
reasonable.
I'm saying to you, if you find an envelope on your desk, you're not opening it. So you're not doing your job.
No. I'm saying to you, you say General Lincoln said you should not look at those.
He said to me, don't show me the documents.
Right. Now, you testify that after being warned, the first docket might be suppressed. You open a similar case at Orlando and Lachte police station. Why were you opening cases in two different police stations?
Because
In fact, it's three. It's not even
three.
two.
So,
Yes.
so what happens is what happens is that when my dockets are collected here at Grand Central, I decide to make it hard for someone. Whoever.
Someone.
Well, right now it looks like Lieutenant General Peter Jacobs.
Yeah, but do you have evidence that is Peter J. Jacobs?
The evidence I'm relying on is General Sentamule, who spoke before me.
No. I'm asking you that.
No way in my
Remember when you open a case, you can't say the evidence is me.
Chief, nowhere in my statement do I allege that General Peter Jacobs collected my documents. I say my documents were collected.
Yeah, but my question is, did you have evidence on what you are alleging? I'm asking you why you went to 3 police stations.
And if you'll allow
and let me just finish by saying to you, perhaps you can clarify these 3 dockets, whether were identical and whether you inform investigators in Gauteng that the duplicate cases has already been opened in the Western Cape.
the documents were not identical. The reason I went to different police stations was just in case somebody was collecting my dockets again, I'd make it harder for them. And none of them were duplications. And no, I did not tell the police in Gauteng that the dockets were collected in Cape Town. I felt it was none of their business.
Now, you suggest that SAPS official attempted to suppress the dockets by diverting them to provincial office. What documentary proof or official records do you have that shows the removal of those dockets was procedural or irregular or part of a deliberate cover-up?
I am not an investigator. A man who I trust with my children's lives told me my documents were collected. That was good enough for me. What has since transpired, especially on the sworn statement of General Sentimule, was that my documents were in fact, actual fact collected, and that it was found to be with Lieutenant General Peter Jacobs. Now, I'm not saying she's right. I'm saying this is her testimony.
Yeah, but now I need your testimony now, Honorable Adams. You testify that you met Inspector General of Intelligence and handed the information to Advocate Governor, am I right?
Yes, sir.
So you had copies of this doc. You opened cases, then you went again to the Inspector General.
If you listened to my statement now the other night, I did not hand any information to the police. The copy that I had, I gave it to the IG.
So when you opened the case, you just opened cases in those.
I just gave a statement, a sketch of what was of what had happened, and that I wanted further investigation.
But because you were afraid of something, what were you afraid of?
A few things, my life, the documents disappearing, the suppression of the case, further cover-ups. I can go
Yeah,
on.
but why then do you open a case if you are afraid of dockets to go missing?
What are my options, Honorable Skusana?
No, I'm asking
The only
you.
place I can open where I can get a case number and have something investigated is with the SAPS. I can't have it done from Parliament.
Yeah.
I can't have it done from the hospital. I can't have it done from the civic.
True, I
Everybody-
understand that.
Can I finish?
Yeah, I understand that.
Everybody's asking this question, but nobody's telling me you should have done that.
No, I'm saying to you, remember, you don't trust the police, am I right?
Not at all.
But you still went to the police station to open cases in the police station, am I right?
I know people that don't like the day hospital, but they have to go and get their tablets there. I don't trust the police, but I needed a case number.
Yeah, now,
Am I right?
or you only needed a case number, not the matter to be investigated.
I wanted the thing on record.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
That's what I'm saying.
Chief, my statement requires further investigation.
Yeah.
So,
Now-
so what I'm asking for is further investigation, as long as I'm in possession of a case number. So if they hijack, I can move against it.
Now, you made an allegation against General Kumalo that his testimony relied on the material generated by, what do you call it?
AI.
ChatGPT. Yeah. Do you have evidence of that?
If you read his testimony and read what AI gives you, it's virtually identical. But I'm glad you bring up General Kumalo, Chairperson, because I would like to retract my retraction now the other night. General Kumalo was in actual fact the head of crime intelligence KZN at the time of the KZN uprisings, Honorable Skusana.
No,
Because-
I understand.
No,
that.
no, no. Can I
But
finish?
I'm asking about the,
No, no,
the,
just
the
because
evidence.
you just triggered something. You asked me to retract. I retracted. I retracted wrongly. He was the head of intelligence KZN.
Yes.
He was the reason for the failure of intelligence that led to the deaths of 300 people. But back to the point again.
Sorry, can you, I beg your pardon? You said for the failure of?
He was the reason intelligence failed KZN with the 2021 uprisings.
Do you have evidence of that?
The Human Rights Commission will tell you. I've got the report here if you want it.
Yeah, no.
Brilliant. I'll give it to you right now.
No, listen to me. We all knows the report from all our state institutions, whether it's Human Rights Commission, but I'm saying, you are saying to us today that the person who's responsible for the upheavals of the July 2021 is General Kumalo.
Chief, that's not me saying it's the Human Rights Commission making a finding.
I'm asking you now, because I'm talking to you. Human Rights Commission will call them at the right time if we
Honorable
need to.
Skusana
I'm just asking you.
Honorable
Say,
Skusana,
are you saying?
Let me help you. You're
Yes.
asking me for evidence. I'm saying here's the Human Rights Commission report. That's evidence. That
it
is
is
evidence.
entirely on John.
That is evidence admissible in court. You don't need to like it, but that is a fact.
No, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just asking you to say, are you saying today that because the Human Rights Commission says that in one of, not necessarily in one of the, you are saying it's General Kumalo who's responsible for July 21 unrest?
I'm not
Right?
saying he's responsible for the unrest. I'm saying he's responsible for the failure of intelligence.
The failure of the intelligence.
Yes.
And General Mkwanazi, you said because he was on leave.
Man goes on leave while his province is burning, so there's nothing I can do about that.
No, I'm saying we are blaming him as well for him to be on leave.
I'm telling you the man went on leave, sir. I'm telling you that any man who would have stood by the hospital window and watched his province burn should have been fired.
So I'm asking you, it's not about sentiments here. I'm asking you a simple question. Are you saying it was wrong for General Mkwanazi to be on leave because they are banning Spar supermarket or they are banning a stadium or whatever?
Because 150,000 people lost their jobs and 300 people lost their lives. He shouldn't have been on leave.
Let me say to you, if he was in, those people would have been alive today.
We could have saved lives.
I'm asking you.
We
now.
could have saved lives.
Yeah.
The troops work best when the general is
let me
there.
ask you, Mr. Adams.
I'm not saying that 300 people wouldn't have died. I'm saying we could have saved 1 life, 10 lives, 15 lives. Who knows?
Yeah, but remember, those culprit, if I may ask you, are those culprit being arrested as we speak here?
You know, this is something that I feel very passionately about because the 300 people killed during the KZN riots, those were politically motivated deaths. And the PKT is not investigating that.
No.
So you are asking the wrong
No.
person if the culprits are being arrested.
No. Some others is not politically, as you say. It was tax thugs who killed, I don't even want to mention their name because you know them in a particular suburb. They've
Honorable,
maimed people passing the door, innocent people. You know that.
Honorable Skosana, the Human Rights Commission says it was politically motivated, and I take their word over yours. Are we okay
No,
with
no,
that?
but let me tell you, the fountain of wisdom is not only human rights commission in this country. We have many institutions here. We've got parliament as well.
Chief,
We need to probe that. We can't say because human rights commission said so, then we are closing our eyes.
I will welcome you, Chief, if you start probing it, but that's what I have before me right now. That is a finding, that is accepted, and that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, now, you criticize the SAP's leadership for failing to name cartels operating in South Africa. Can you provide the committee with an independent intelligence report, case files, or investigating finding confirming the existence of such cartels that SAP's allegedly ignored?
Can I answer you like this? At the press conference, the cartels was the headline. At the Adhoc committee, there was no information on the cartels. You can't ask me-
Why are you saying it was
Can I finish?
headlines?
Can I finish?
Yeah, but don't.
Can I qualify my answer?
Yeah, okay.
Honorable Skosana, this can't work, my brother, man. Please, if
Yeah,
you
but
ask me a
don't
question-
mislead us, please, because when you say headlines on the July 16 about cartels,
The most striking part of that July 6th press conference was the cartels.
yeah, but that's for you. For me, it was not, and for other people, it's not.
Let me retract.
Cartels.
Let me retract.
Yeah.
But at the July 6th press conference, it was about cartels and the existence of cartels and the politicians protecting cartels. And at the ad hoc committee, it was no, we've got no evidence of this.
Yeah,
Then they name a thug. Vusikat Matlala is a thug as a cartel boss.
No.
But
Yeah.
they've got no proof of that either.
Yeah,
so,
but-
so you, Honorable Skosana,
Yeah,
you
but-
cannot ask me for the evidence of cartels if the head of intelligence can't provide you evidence of cartels.
Yeah.
He's the one sitting with a R1 billion budget, not
yeah,
me.
Yeah, but listen to me, Mr. Adams. If you have evidence is not information. Information is not evidence. We are giving me information. That's not evidence. There's a huge difference between evidence and you said there's facts. And I'm saying to you, it's incorrect for you that you have facts.
Any-
It's facts for yourself. You cannot be facts for all.
Any-
We must still probe that.
Any
Do you agree?
Any investigation starts with information.
Yeah, and then now
What
are
I'm
you saying-
doing?
Are you saying to us you've got evidence?
Of cartels?
Yes.
No, I'm not the head of intelligence. Ask Dumasani Kumar.
No. Because remember, it's you. You said that to me. You've got evidence. Most of your things, like you
When
said,
did I say this to you, leadership?
no, that documents which they put under your carpet, you regard it as evidence. And I'm saying it's not evidence.
I regarded that as information, therefore I laid a charge.
Yes.
I'm
So-
struggling with
so
you.
it's not
Struggling with
evidence.
you.
But we agree that is not evidence.
What is not evidence, sir?
Those documents you have.
A judge finds that there's prima facie evidence.
I'm saying to you, I'm saying to you, we are saying the judge, I'm saying to you, is that the evidence? Because the matter is still under investigation. There's no judgment on that.
So you understand how prima facie evidence works?
I understand, yes.
Well, that's what a judge found. So the judge found enough prima facie evidence to authorize the arrest of a whole general, knowing what the implications are if it's false.
No,
Can you let that sink in?
no. Let me ask you this way, Mr. Adams. Are you blaming General Mkhwanazi to tell the country what is happening in this country? Let's start there.
Am I blaming General Mkhwanazi?
Yes, for what he has done on the 6th of July.
General Mkhwanazi played the last card available to him. He called the press conferenceman and he told lies. And all
No.
And you asked me a question.
No,
let me answer.
no.
And all this was done to save his bra,
No.
Masimola, from arrest.
No.
He's admitted to that.
Who admitted to that?
General Mkhwanazi said that.
He said he was saving the national commissioner.
That's what I just said.
Where?
Chairperson, help me.
No, I'm asking you where.
Chairperson, help me. Ek is in pyn. Ek kry nog op.
No,
Help me.
Mr. Adams, let's not go gossip here. Because those things are maybe on the street there, not in our Coco committee where I sit.
Honorable Skosana, General Mkhwanazi says that he tried to save the National Commission.
No. Give us that evidence, Mr. Adams. I've never heard that.
Well, I'm happy to play it for you inside or outside, sir.
Yeah, please, if you have that, please
I will
play
find
it.
it to you. I'll send it to the chairperson.
Because for me, it's for the first time I'm hearing that.
Let me quote General Mkhwanazi for you. The National Commissioner was at the gates of prison. That's what he says.
Was what?
Am I the only person in this room that heard it?
No, you are talking to me. I'm the one who's asking you.
I'm telling you what he said, Chief. You are free to dispute
He
it.
said the president what?
He said the National Commissioner was
Yeah.
at the gates of prison. That's the reason for the press
Was
conference.
against the president.
At the gates of prison. Can I have a blackboard behind me? I want to write in big bold letters.
Oh, gates of prison. Oh my God.
No, it's not got nothing to do with God. It's got to do with fraud, corruption, and nepotism. Don't blame God for this.
Now, because of time as well,
Thank God.
you suggested that businessman Vusi, inverted commas, Matala, because he's not yet found guilty as well. So it's still an allegation against him. Am I right?
Vusikat Matlala has been jailed for 4 years. He's a criminal.
He has been jailed for 4 years.
He was jailed for 4 years. He's
No,
admitted it.
I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking about now. The case.
He's still a criminal. He's a convicted criminal. Whether you like it,
Yeah.
whether you don't.
No,
He's
no.
a convicted criminal. He's a boof. He's a scallum.
Yeah, listen to me. Listen to me. I'm talking about this matter now. I'm saying to you, you are saying Vus Matala may have acted as well as you say he's a criminal. You know, whatever.
I don't say he's a criminal. The court say he's a criminal.
But I'm
No, but
still-
you must stop twisting the facts to turn your narrative here. Let's say it together. Vusikat Matlala is a criminal. Come work with me.
No. I'm not in a shebeen. I'm in parliament here.
But you're acting
No. I'm not going to dance to that. I want us to have facts here.
Chief, here's the
Let
fact.
us not be.
Chief, here's the
Yeah.
fact. And your lawyer colleague next to you can confirm. Vusikat Matlala is a criminal.
Yeah, I'm saying to you now, to you, I'm putting this to you. What direct evidence do you possess that links the timing of that press conference to an attempt to obstruct the influence of potential criminal procedure against the National Cocoa Commissioner? I'm talking about evidence now.
The only evidence I have is the testimony of General Mkonazi.
Yeah,
His own words.
But do we all listen to him? Maybe you listen in the other way around.
If the evidence is there, it's on the YouTube, it's on everywhere. Unless you're going to discredit Mkonazi himself, because that is what he said. He said it. He said it himself. He was under no duress. There was no gun to his head.
So he said the National Commissioner was on the case of the prison. Why? Did he explain on the press conference?
That is what I wanted to know from this committee is why didn't you ask him that when you had the chance?
No. You are part and parcel of the committee.
I'm not part
remember?
of this committee, Chief.
No, I'm not talking about Adhoc. He's coming back here. I'm talking about the portfolio committee. Because remember, he started there, am I right?
Yes, he was there.
Yes.
Yes, he was there.
Do you agree?
Yes, he was there.
Did you ask him there then?
No, at the time, I'm still processing what was said.
Yeah, so if I'm saying to you, we are still processing that too, yeah.
You
What's
are
wrong with
processing, what are you processing?
What do you ask me now to say why you haven't asked him?
But he was right in front of you.
No, he's coming back here.
Well then, hallelujah.
Chair, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Skosana. This has been fun. I'm going to, Chairperson.
Can you please retract that? It's funny, Chair, because we are not here for
That's it
fun.
funny. I said it's been fun. I enjoyed it as fun. Chairperson, can I just request just a 10-second recess? I just need to grab a tablet behind me, please. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. I just need to grab a tablet behind me.
10 seconds.
Thank you.
But before you use the time that you request, can you recite those lyrics again so that Honorable...
Oh, that Vusikat Matlala is a criminal.
So that Honorable Kwalabanat
She better be nice to me tonight.
can also tune in. Yeah, because I see Honorable Skosana is like me. We are used to the notes. You learn the notes do, re, mi, fa, so.
No, we will sing it on the plane when we go to KZN tomorrow, Chairperson.
So if you just want to start without the notes,
No, Chair.
yeah, you start with lyrics.
Chairperson, can we get back to serious business, please?
Honorable Kwalabanat, are you ready?
Thank you, Chair. I would ask that my colleague perhaps moves a little bit. I can't see the witness. Sorry.
Out.
No, no, not you. Thank you. I'm sorry to do this to you again.
Should I move to another chief?
No, he's very obliging. Thank you very much. Let's start with what is your personal theory on who is leaking information generally from crime intelligence, let alone classified information, and to what end? Because there are now constant reports, weekly reports, pouring out of crime intelligence and in the newspapers and the news online.
The honest answer, Honorable Kola Barnett, is I don't know. It is a concern because if you go onto social media, there's like 7 or 8 people constantly posting sensitive things. I mean, the fact that the IGI's report has been leaked to the media, it's a concern. I don't want to mention a name without even a little bit of information because I don't really know people at crime intelligence, to be honest with you. Because General Theo, in our last discussion, that must have been 2 weeks ago, told me that this is a ticking time bomb. He said it's only a matter of time before someone gets killed because of these leaks. So it is a real concern.
Look, I agree with you in your statement that the JSCI did not exist at the stage when you received the documents. It was only constituted on the 1st of April 24. So your options were indeed very limited. And that fact meant you had to go to the SAPS or the Inspector General of Intelligence or both. So what outcomes were you looking for in terms of both of those visits?
I was just looking for justice, Honorable Kola Barnett. And I told someone, I think it was the weekend, I wish I'd thrown those documents in the bin and just forgotten about it. Because it's actually turned my life into a nightmare. There was a stage, and there's people behind me that can confirm it right now, where I would have to have armed people collect my kids at school, where I would ensure that my wife didn't walk anywhere, not even to the shop, because it was hectic. The strain on my family, for all the good that may come out of this committee, I don't know if it was worth it. I don't know. The times I had to move my family from our home because we were just concerned about the amount of cars stopping when the neighbors tell you about people stopping in front of your house, taking pictures of your home. It was a nightmare. So there's a big part of me that wishes I'd torn those documents up and just walked away. But when I look at what these people have allegedly done, I'm actually very glad that I didn't.
I'm not sure if you're aware of the 2018 high-level review panel report on state security and the state security agency known as the Mufamadi report, which found that excessive secrecy and the cloaking of activities under national security were used to conceal widespread criminality, corruption, and political factionalism within the South African intelligence services across the board. Now, that was released by the president in 2019 and provided a damning indictment of the agency's operations. It seems you're claiming or agreeing that exactly the same thing is happening in crime intelligence, using secrecy to cloak criminality.
I wasn't aware of the report, Honorable Kola Barnett, but it does not surprise with me.
Not a secret
It's not,
report, it's out there.
but I hadn't read it, but it doesn't surprise me. And I'm 100% in agreement in what was said, because it does appear as if there are people at crime intelligence and at SAPS as a whole who see the funds from crime intelligence as their own personal ATM.
Now, this committee is looking at possible criminality within our security services. Now, what you've raised here speaks precisely to that. I've never seen classified documents outside of the JSCI, so it's a mystery how you came by them. I don't know who leaked them to you, put them to you, shoved them under a door, whatever they did with them. So you spoke to the information about properties purchased by crime intelligence, which now seems to be endlessly reported on, presumably also via a crime intelligence leak. Do you have contacts within crime intelligence who speak to you regularly?
No, ma'am, I do not. I do not.
So where are the leaks from?
I tell you again, I don't know where those documents came from. And if I knew, I would certainly tell someone. Maybe not you, but I would have told someone. I don't know who put those documents there. I'm hoping the cameras will reveal something. That is the reason why there are cameras. If I wanted to lie about where those documents came from, I would have said someone left it on my windscreen. Someone left it at my Mitchell's Plain office. There are no cameras there. I'm telling the truth that I walked into my office and there it was.
Okay, your theory on why this particular entity is leaking like a sieve. To what end?
I think that it's a factional thing. I think that one set of crooks might be trying to oust the other set of crooks, but we also can't discard the possibility that there may be good policemen left in crime intelligence that are really trying their best to clean up. I don't know. I can't give you a definitive answer, but it wouldn't surprise me if one band of crooks wanted to get their hands on the till.
I do believe there are good cops within crime intelligence, within the state security age, everywhere. And I think, and I've seen what's happened elsewhere, when the good cops become overwhelmed, they've now reported things, they're ignored, it's shoved under carpets, something breaks eventually, and this information starts pouring out. My personal theory is that's what's happening now, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, do you believe that the late General Lincoln, had he lived, would have been tracked down and charged for speaking about this matter with you, for advising you to do what you did? After all, we see whistleblowers today hounded, killed. Have you felt physically threatened personally?
I've had the feeling that I was being followed many, many times. My children have told me that there's a white car driving around every second corner they walk. We've had that. And General Lincoln told me that he was looking forward to a fight with the people that run the SAPs. And I must be very honest with you. I was looking forward to having him sitting behind me tonight. It is a real pity that he's not here.
Paragraph 13. You say you were deeply suspicious of the motives of a man who asked to meet with you as he was to investigate the cases you'd opened. You explained earlier how you avoided his calls. Now, what made you suspicious? Some might say paranoid, in terms of a police officer saying he was going to investigate your matters.
Yes, he called. And my issue was, I'd laid the charges, my dockets had been collected. So there was no intention to investigate until I'd spoken to the IG and the IDAC. But when he introduced himself as Lieutenant Colonel, because again, I said to him, I think my first conversation went along the line of we can meet next week. But then I said to General Lincoln, Lieutenant Colonel, I think it was Phillips, called me. And then he said, Lieutenant Colonel. I said, yeah, because I didn't find anything wrong with it. And he said, but a Lieutenant Colonel can't investigate a general. And I said, what does this mean? Break it down to me. I'm stupid. I'm slow. Then he said to me, Fadiel, this is going to be covered up. It's at this point I decided I'm not meeting you, Lieutenant Colonel.
Paragraph 15. You claim that Lieutenant General Khumalo purchased a redundant cell phone grabber. Where did that information come from? Is it a reference to the notorious 45 million rand spent on the grabber pre-Nasrec?
That is 100% the grab I'm speaking about. I mentioned that in portfolio also. It must have been 18 months ago.
Yes. What prompted you to begin asking about the lack of security clearance on the part of various top police officers? I've put out statement after statement over the years, many years, about exactly that. And the way top police officers, they dodge it, they duck, they dive, they won't go. But what prompted you to query this at exactly this time?
I am convinced that the carnage on the Cape Flats is happening because we have unqualified people in the wrong positions. If General Patekile does not have a security clearance, he shouldn't be operating as the provincial chairperson, provincial commissioner. If General Magashalala does not have a security clearance, he should not be the head of detectives of this province. Now, I can't confirm if they do. I'm using them as examples. But what I'm saying is that it is widely said everywhere you go that there are many, many dozens of generals who do not have security clearance because some of them can't even apply because they've got criminal records. Now, these are the people that the force cannot keep on. We can't under any circumstances. So the reason that I'm so upset about all of this is I can't verify it, but I've read somewhere that our intelligence budget was cut by 100 million rand to purchase these hotels. Now, 100 million rand puts boots on the ground, it puts drones in the air, and it puts investigators on the road. Now, children are being raped and killed daily because there's not enough funds. Right around the corner here sits organized crime. Policemen that are expected to combat cartels are working from cell phones because they don't have laptops. But we're buying Lani hotels, 45 million rand grabbers that don't work, top of the range sports cars if we want to. Meanwhile, poor children continue to die.
Paragraphs 23 and 4, you seem to link the 26th of June 2025 arrests of the Crime Intelligence 7 to the press conference of the 6th of July. Now you say 6, actually it was 7 because Lieutenant General Lushaba was rearrested, so that makes 7. Kumalo, Madondo, Lelakalaka, Gabela, Nkube, and Mokwele, they were granted 10,000 rand bail. They were ordered not to enter the premises of Crime Intelligence, but Lushaba, of course, remained in custody as his other matter, for which he'd been arrested a week before, was a Schedule 6 criminal offense. So owing to his pending case, it all became very messy, and such did not reflect on his affidavit. Now you seem to link their arrests with the July 6th press conference. Was that deliberate?
You know, Honorable Member, I watched that press conference at home, and I said to my wife, this has got nothing to do with anything except the arrest of Kumalo. Little did I know that I'd later hear it's because the National Commissioner was at the gates of prison. That press conference was a show of force, like he says. It was a show of force to threaten all of us. Arrest my friends. You'll see what happens. There was no other reason for guns behind him. There was no other reason for the camouflage uniform. It was a threat to this house, to this democracy, and to the rule of law. That's what it was. Hence my statement, Mkwanazi is a constitutional delinquent and is not fit to wear the uniform.
Have you had any feedback from the IDAC on their investigations into the matters you raised with them?
The only feedback I ever get from the IDAC is that the investigation is underway and they are making progress.
Final question. We read earlier today with an earlier witness about the internal SAPS report that cleared Lieutenant General Kumalo of the charges, your charges, as there was no evidence supplied. Now, how do you view that the SAPS believe that unless a civilian provides concrete evidence, the charges must then be dismissed? It does seem to me, in my many years on the Police Portfolio Committee, that so often a criminal charge against an officer who's in court being charged criminally, you see the same person being cleared internally.
But what do you expect when the head of SAPS legal is Bekitele's former legal counsel? What do you expect? And I'm asking this committee to look into the appointment of that man. And also look at his standing with the RPC, because he calls himself advocate. But when we check with the RPC, we don't find a record of him there. Please, he was appointed as Chele was leaving office. And we are reliably told that there was no interview process, no advertisement. So please, look at the man who finds Kumalo not guilty without seeing the evidence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
I'm coming to kill Buddha.
Honorable Thopa.
Thank you, Chair, and good evening, Honorable Adams, and to your family that's here with you. I hope you're doing okay there with your shoulder.
Thank you, Honorable Klopper. See, guys, I told you he was nice.
Honorable Adams, during your testimony, you did make a statement, and I wrote it down when you were speaking to Advocate Makhatse. You said you're a self-proclaimed conspiracy theorist. Could you just explain why you said that? Because we're dealing with lots of contradictory information. We're dealing with a lot of testimonies back and forth. Why would you use that statement?
When I say I'm a conspiracy theorist, it's based on the simple fact that I generally believe that where there's smoke, there's fire. You know, I've been a thief long enough in my life to know that when something goes wrong, there's generally a thief involved.
Don't even know how to respond.
What are you saying, leader? No, some of us can admit to our shortcomings, Chief. I was a thief for many, many years and more.
Thank you for your honesty, Honorable Adams. When you were questioned, I noticed a discrepancy. When you said you made the cases here in Cape Town, then the dockets were fetched, you went to Gauteng, you mentioned that you had a feeling something wasn't right. A little later, you said General Lincoln had actually warned you. And I just want to know which one was it? Did you have a feeling, and I ask it with a reason, or was it General Lincoln that warned you?
Chief, just to put it into context, General Lincoln warned me.
Okay.
He called me and told me your dockets. I remember that conversation. So your dockets have just been collected. I'm like, General, what does this mean? He says, it's in the provincial office. And me being stupid, I say, what does it mean? He says, it shouldn't have happened. They've broken the law. They're going to cover this thing up.
So General Lincoln was warning you, and it sounded like he had solid advice. He was telling you what was happening. Did he share any other suspicions with you?
No.
There was nothing else that he was giving you information of that could have assisted you and this committee?
No, he did not share anything with me. But let me tell you how solid General Lincoln was. General Lincoln was the type that could call me at 9:30 at night and tell me, you need to get to Woodlands quickly. So what's the matter, General? They're about to start shooting. He was that good.
All right. Thank you, Honorable. You said that you didn't inform the investigating officers when you made the cases at the second and third police station. Do you not think in hindsight it would create a bit of confusion and hamper investigations instead of insisting it?
No, because when I got onto that plane to Johannesburg to lay the charges, I was convinced that the cases that are open in Cape Town would never be investigated here.
And you said you don't, I can't verbatim recall the word you said, but you said you didn't think the minister handled the matter properly at a stage. You went to him after because you don't trust SAPS. Then you found a problem with him. He did reply to you within an hour, the chief of staff again within 40 minutes. What exactly did he not do according to you that was, who could have done better? Let me ask you in that way.
Well, there's always something that can be done better. I expected the minister to be harsh in portfolio. He wasn't. I also wrote to the minister. I asked him, I mean, this is much later. The IGI has concluded his report. He's confirmed this with me. He says the report is with you. Please bring it to the portfolio so we can discuss it. The minister didn't reply to that. At that stage, I was under the impression the minister was part of the cover-up. Today, I understand that I was wrong.
Honorable Adams, when you open a case, then an investigating officer wants to speak to you. You say you politely declined. You found reasons not to speak to him. I do want to understand. You open a case, someone wants to investigate it, then you decline to speak. And I understand your reasoning, but I'll get to that in a second. Does it not undermine then the credibility of the complaint? If you're refusing it, and I'll get to the ranking now in a second.
Chief, remember, the dockets have been collected. My conversation with Major General Andre Lincoln is, they're not going to investigate. This is why I go to Johannesburg. This is why I email the IDAC. I call the IDAC. This is why I go to to Pretoria to see the IGI of intelligence. Only after this do the SAPs want to speak to me. So the ranking thing was explained to me by General Lincoln, but in my mind it was, why now? If you understand what I'm saying.
I do. Is it possible that the Colonel Phillips,
I think it was
was appointed to investigate that the dockets were interfered with and not the criminality or the allegations that you made? Because there's two parts to this, Honorable Adams. The one part is that you make an allegation and that needs to be investigated. But the second part is you're saying, well, my things were tampered with. You've gone to the IGI, you've gone to ADAC, you've gone to the minister. Everybody's investigating now this matter. Was he then not appointed to investigate the tampering?
It would have made sense if I had laid a service delivery complaint. I hadn't.
No, I understand. I saw that in your testimony. But I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, because they have realized now there's tampering, like what you explained. So someone had to investigate the tampering.
You see, in my view, it's not that they realized there's tampering. They had tampered. So for me, it was a case of the IGI is investigating. Hopefully the IDAC will investigate. We don't need the SAPs to investigate anymore. That was just the way I saw it.
No problem. And no, I'll leave that. Honorable Adams, I'm not an expert just like yourself. You said it, and I'm not shy to say I'm not an expert at these matters either. But the question I also wanted to ask, when you spoke about the files being fetched in Cape Town, and I want to understand, is that not also possible procedure, considering the high-profile nature? I mean, these are classified documents. We know people got arrested. My question is that a possibility or not a possibility?
No, sir.
Because you had contact with Lincoln, I can on.
There was no that was exactly what I asked. Is it not because of the profile? And then General Lincoln said to me that the SAPS and the SANDF are the two most structured entities in the country. And if you don't follow the protocols and the procedures, your head will fly. There was absolutely no chance of that happening. None.
Honorable Adams, you also make a very bold claim about SAPS having stolen the mandrakes. And you went on to say that in your testimony, while you were verbalizing it, you said that, well, if the National Commissioner didn't know, he knows now. Do you have any evidence of the SAPS actually having stolen that? And Honorable Adams, I'll ask this, I think, with the same passion that you have, and I really hope you do have evidence.
You know,
because I feel strongly about my kids, the same as what you do, and we wouldn't want our kids getting hold of drugs.
You know, Honorable Kloppa, I asked the question in portfolio. I gave them the case number. I said, here you go. Here's 100 million rands worth of mandrakes that has disappeared. I mean, that has been confiscated. Why is it not in the media? I was given a response, and it's in the minutes which I've submitted, that it's undergoing further investigation. When we checked a few weeks ago, months ago, on the status of that, that case no longer mentions mandrakes. It talks about firearms. So the question we have is, what happened to the mandrakes? And therefore we say it's stolen. I know it's a bold claim, but let the National Commissioner come and make a different one, because 100 million rands worth of mandrakes, that's almost exclusively sold here on the Cape Flats. And that is why it's personal to me.
No, 100%. And I think those are the questions that needs to be, that's why I'm asking them, because there is an opportunity to still question. And I want to ventilate these issues, because it doesn't help if you don't come forth with it now, it will be lost. You made another claim about the PKTT, and you said, you bet your seat in Parliament. I think I heard you correctly.
You did.
And you said that, other people are staying there. It's a money laundering thing. I want to understand, do you have any evidence of this as well? Again, I'm asking, and I hope you have evidence of people staying there, because it's not that it's trying to prove you wrong, but it's about having when we have to compile a report, that there's actually evidence that we can use to substantiate why we want something followed.
You know, Honorable Kloppa, when any SAPS team, task force, unit travels, you know where they stay? They stay at the City Lodge. 1,000 rand a night, 1,100 rand a night. The PKTT is being housed for 10,000 rand a night. So I'm saying to you with confidence that if I am wrong, I'll happily vacate council, our parliament. But I'm asking this committee, because those hotels were bought with the proceeds of the police portfolio's money, I'm asking the committee to subpoena the ledgers and the books so we can see who's being invoiced for what. Because I'm telling you with confidence, and I dare General Kumalo or General Masimola to go and lay a charge against me in the morning for what I'm about to say. That hotel is part of a big money laundering scheme.
You stated in your evidence after meeting Adhoc, you considered that the case was finalized in paragraph 11. Is that correct?
I considered the issue finalized in that I've done my job.
Correct.
I've given the information to the IGI. I've described to the Adhoc what's happened. I'm out of this now. That's what I'm thinking. The investigation must flow. And if the documentation I handed is fraudulent, nothing will come from it. And hopefully someone does their job if the information is verified.
You then, I think in the next paragraph, you spoke about you went to the IG. You gave all the information over to Advocate Governor. And in this paragraph, I would think, you think, well, now it's final.
Yes, essentially.
Did you do anything after this you've gone to IDAC, you've done that. Did you consult with the police portfolio? Did you consult with the minister? Did you consult with anybody after this?
I decided after bringing things up at the police portfolio that it was hopeless, in my view. And I say it again, it's a self-criticism. I sit on that portfolio as well. I did not speak to the minister further. I do not have the minister's number. I don't have conversations. The only minister I actually speak to is Gayton McKenzie. And that's more of a, it's a whole colored thing. It's a different type of vibe.
I want to ask this question. You say you considered it finalized, but you've also at the same time in this committee spoken about a very strong conviction of you, accountability, transparency. You wanted to see prosecutions. Did you consider it finalized personally, or, well, whatever happens, kind of finalized?
No, I considered it finalized personally. As in, I've done what I can do. There's no more I can do after this. I was just too happy that someone was saying that they'll investigate.
I understand. Honorable Adams, it was alluded to previously, and I want to bring it up again because it bothers me to a point. You can't help if someone slips something under your door, as much as you can't help if someone leaves something on your windscreen. I understand that. And your name has, according to you, also been dragged through the mud. Your family's in danger, and all of these type of things. And I know it's not your job to investigate either. But in order for your own name, why didn't you try and get camera footage already? I mean, I'm just looking at it from a logical standpoint. If I was in the firing line, I would have definitely tried to at least get camera footage, find out who's scanning. And you said it when you were verbalizing again, 6:15 every morning you're in the office. So, you have a timeline, you have a whole schedule.
Honorable Klopper, I was under the impression that state security would have done that already. Therefore, I didn't bother. And also, I'm concerned about the safety of the person that slipped it under my door, to be honest with you.
Say again, sorry?
Recently, I've thought to myself, how long is this person going to live when they find out his identity or her identity? So, for me, I'm hoping state security knows who it is, but I'm also hoping they don't disclose the identity because funny things are happening right now.
You see, Honorable Adams, I think the problem that I have with this type of how this matter was dealt with is in this case it maybe did work out in a great favor that people were arrested and brought to book and are facing trials and all of that. But we also have heard in many of the testimonies here with just banning PKTT, exposing people, suddenly withdrawing them, it put them at risk. And I think that's the reason I'm concerned about the way the crime intelligence or the information is leaking. Because today it works out, and tomorrow someone's dead for the same thing. And I think that's what concerns this committee, because our terms of reference isn't to decide whether you're guilty or innocent or prosecute you. We're not prosecutors. I don't pretend to be one. But it's to understand how do we strengthen our institutions. And if people are allowed to walk into parliaments and slip a paper under your door that's got information, I mean, they can slip into parliament and slit your throat too.
I don't disagree with you, Chief.
So
I do not disagree with you one bit.
Honorable Adams, I'll rest there. I have actually quite a lot of more questions, but okay, I just want to ask this quickly. Three short questions. You obviously have been following the committee and all of these committees of the Adhoc Commission, and you are aware of the allegations made by Kat Matlala that former Minister Cele received large sums of money.
Yes, I am.
You're also aware former Cele also met with Kat Matlala according to his own witness statement, where Mr. Matlala proceeded to tell him he was being pressured into false statements against SAPS members for the theft of Rolex watches, etc.
Yes, I am.
Literally admitting that he was lying and putting fellow policemen in prison.
That's why I said he's a thug.
According to your statement, paragraph 25.1, you say General Mkhwanazi knew former Minister Cele was attempting to pull him into wrongdoings, but did nothing to distance himself. Are you then saying that General Mkhwanazi is protecting former Minister Cele?
Honorable Nombalo, I think it was Nombalo, he actually makes a good point. Because when I heard wrongdoings, I immediately I imagined all types of criminality. But it could, or was it Honorable? It was Sangweni, sorry. It could have been something like a naughty boys trip. It could have been a night at Mavericks. So that part of my statement, now that I have another view of it, it could have been anything. But at the time, yes, no, he's protecting Tele. But like I say, I'm looking at it from another angle, and there is another explanation. And I must be honest about it.
All right, I just asked because I've also listened to statements and I've made my own notes, and I mean, we also have to make something out of it. So it's a nowhere I'm alleging it, and I hear what you're saying. But we, as you explained quite nicely, I know you're trying to connect the dots, and that's exactly why we're here.
100%.
My last question to you is, you refer to General Mukanazi as a constitutional delinquent. And is it because you describe him like that because of the the July 2021 riots?
No.
Or is it because of his interpretation of the classified documents of criminalizing crime?
100%, Chief. He makes this allegation that I belong in Paulsmoor. You know, it's a real proud colored stereotype. But then why do I belong in Paulsmoor? Because I laid charges. Because corruption must be classified. He's a constitutional delinquent. I'll say it to his face.
Thank you, Honorable Adams. I really.
Lema has a really stern look in his face right now. I'm feeling intimidated.
No, thank you, Chairperson. I'm not going to ask any question. Where you are seated, you must know there's nothing wrong you have done. No one must ever try to tell you nonsense. There's nothing wrong you have done. You come across information, you go to the police. And what police do with it is none of your business. You have reported it to the authorities. That's how it works. Where should you take that information to? To the same corrupt politicians who are in cahoots with thugs, whose political parties are formed with blood money, and tell you, no, take parliament, take it to parliament. Which law is that? You come across nonsense, you report it to the police. It doesn't matter who is being implicated in the nonsense. There are no holy cows here. There are no holy cows here. We are here to investigate wrongdoing. It doesn't matter who has done it. No one. No one is above this constitution. No one is above the law. No one. I would have done the same. I did the same in 1998. When some of them were in Pampas, I reported SARS rogue unit. It was reported by me for the first time. And where did I get that information? The same way you got the information. Sneaked under the door of the ANC Youth League when I was the president of the Youth League. That we were being listened to by the SARS rogue unit, all those who support Jacob Zuma at that time. So how you get top secret information and things like that, there is no formula. You reported that matter to the police. That's the beginning and the end of it. Do they want something from you? If they are legit, they call you, you give them whatever you have. That was the right thing to do. That's what we members of parliament must do. We come across anything, we report it to the police. How are you going to know that it's top secret if you don't open the envelope? How do you hold an envelope like this intelligently and say this is top secret? Because you have to open the envelope and you have to find it written top secret for you to declare it top secret.
I believe Honorable Skosana knows how.
So there is absolutely, members of parliament have got a duty to report wrongdoing to the police. They can still come here and hold the authorities accountable, but that doesn't take away the fact that if you see anything wrong, you must report it to the police. Whether you are right, whether you are wrong, it's not for me to judge. They must do an investigation and they must come back to you and say, Honorable Adams, you were wrong. There is no prima facie evidence. Whatever you gave us doesn't work. So those are my remarks. Please, you must never be worried. Some of us have been worse than what you are going through. We joined this thing. The first thing they told us when we joined the struggle was that we must never be scared of policemen. Why should they use a policeman to scare us? We must never be scared of death. And we joined this thing, we put our families at risk. We do it consciously. for the good of society. So you must never, through the intimidation of the kids and the wife and all those, be made to retreat and be scared of thugs that want to intimidate you. Stand with the truth. That's all you need. Otherwise, after standing with the truth, even if you die with a clear conscience that I was never on the side of wrongdoing. Even when it was fashionable to do so, I've never compromised the truth for political expedience. Over to you, Honorable Mates.
Oh, she's going to ask the question.
Yeah, you can ask me a question.
We don't have many questions. Thank you, Chair. Honorable Adams. And it's more an observation, and you can comment on it. So when they were contacting you and you said that you gave them the runaround, right, because they were not supposed to be allocated those cases, do you not think that it would have been better for you to say, hey, Chief, like how you tell us here, Chief, this is not, and explain to them that from what you understand, that you should have not been allocated these dockets to investigate as well, because you also contributed to the confusion later on that happened around the dockets.
You know, Honorable Matthias, in my view, the confusion was created by the generals who came to sit here.
Mhm.
I didn't want to let them know that I knew more than what they thought.
Okay. So you were also.
No, the fact that a full general, well, a lieutenant general can come and sit in this chair and tell you as honorable members that a colonel was going to investigate a general, it tells me what he thinks of you.
But that was before.
No, what I'm saying.
I mean, what happened
No,
when we
no.
went to open the cases, it was way before we had that here. So I'm saying you already had information,
Yes.
right? That you must just give them the runaround, and you didn't want to let them know what it is you were doing.
100%.
So that's what I wanted to understand.
Thank you.
Then that's fine. Chair, on the Mandrax case, as the committee, we must write to the National Commission. We must also let that go under the radar. Honorable Adams has brought it to our attention, and we must get exact details and ask specific questions about what happened to the case. Why is the case now? What an firearms.
It's become a firearms case.
Yeah, and it must be done as soon as possible. Just quickly, you haven't spoken much about your relationship with Lieutenant General Sabir, or do you have one? And
I have more of a relationship with General Mkwanazi than Sabir because I actually sent Mkwanazi a WhatsApp once. I've never spoken to Sabir. I've never seen him outside of Parliament. And after what I've heard, I never want to either.
that was my next question about whether you were surprised. So you don't speak kindly about the KZN Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Mkwanazi. Why do you believe when he said that he did the press conference because the National Commissioner was at the gates of hell? Why do you believe him on that?
Because I know all the other parts were rubbish. I know the talk of the PKTT was rubbish. Okay, the 121 files at the time there was a question mark about, but the people who've testified have put even more shade on that. I know that myself and Honorable Kola Barnard are not involved in cartels. So the only conclusion I can come to, it was about the arrest of his friends. There's no other conclusion for me. If General Mkwanazi can come and sit in this chair and produce 1 ounce of proof about the allegations he made, then we're good. He hasn't. I watched him. I listened to him. His testimony is, I thought to myself, and no General Kumalo will come and confirm, but then he doesn't. The man lied to Parliament. He lied repeatedly. And I hope he doesn't get away
Were
with it.
you surprised when he said that our National Commissioner was at not the gates of prison? Were you surprised?
I was.
And you believed him immediately?
Well, General Mkwanazi says it. He's got a relationship with Masimola, not me. So obviously there was a discussion, and I can even tell you that there was probably a discussion about the press conference as well. Because he calls that press conference and he gets away with it without any disciplinary measure. So I'm assuming the National Commissioner gave him consent to do it.
And do you know anything else? Any other information outside of what Lieutenant General Mkwanazi said about the National Commissioner being?
No, ma'am.
would you, nothing, you don't have any information that we can follow up on?
I'm actually busy working on the Red Cross issue right now, so I'm done with SAPS. I've had enough of this.
Or you moved on? And then just my last, and you can comment on it, but Chair, we should also make a decision that we follow up on the hotels, and that we write in, we get whatever information that we need on the ledgers to be able to do that.
Come on.
And not let this also go under the radar. And when we go into deliberations, we can't, take positions or make findings or do recommendations without having that information as well. And I hope we don't have too many hurdles with us being able to access that information. That's all. Thank you, Chair. I think President just has one word.
Sorry, Chair. I just want to say this thing that the honorable member says, it's here. Mukwanazi, during his 2-day testimony that concluded Wednesday, claimed Masemola narrowly escaped arrest due to a sinister political plot linked to interference in Hawks appointments. He said it here.
Thank you, Honorable Malema. You behave.
Bangazita.
Why are you pointing at me, Honorable?
I was joking, Chairperson. I was joking.
Anything to do with this?
The speaker who is recognized is Honorable Mwango, if we can respect him.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. The questions that I had have actually been covered. Thank you.
The next speaker is Honorable Sols. The honorable member requested 30 minutes.
That's the 30 minutes.
Chair, Honorable Dawazit says he's donating his minutes to me. This is a very special day. I have the honor of questioning Honorable Fadiel Adams. Chair, can we please just confirm what time am I ending? Let me be sure. So that you don't.
At 4 minutes past, 5 minutes past 10, I'll give you 20 minutes.
No, Chair. We agreed on 30, you see. I knew it.
So your time will end at 10:15.
Thank you, Chair. I knew it.
Do you need me to add?
Yes, please.
With how many minutes?
Benevolence. No, we shall see, Chair.
Until 10:15.
Thank you, Chairperson. Are we Masagant?
Proven my. Keep up, Novalo.
Honorable Adams.
Ik het amper gesê salute met my mouth dop.
You are Muslim, correct?
Yes, my brother, I am.
Now you are in a sacred period in Islam known as Ramadan. That requires of you to be truthful, correct?
To the best of my ability. My ability is extremely limited sometimes.
Now I make dua for you that the following surah is your reality today. May Allah expand your chest. Make your task easy for you. Untie the knots in your tongue so we might understand your speech. Amen.
Tuma amen. Tuma amen.
Who is the person on your t-shirt?
This is LaShawn Hendricks. LaShawn Hendricks was 15 years old. He was shot in Hanover Park. Gangsters were firing on each other. They cornered one. One gangster held him as a shield. The other one fired right through him. He was 15 years old. Today we won a small victory. The killers were denied bail. But this happens in the Cape Flats 10 times a day. Young boys and girls get gunned down like they're nothing. This is why this is so personal to me. This is why when I had an opportunity to call you my honorable bro. You know, lekker it makes me feel. Honorable brain man. Want as brain mans, het mos gehoor wat sy mkwanazi, goed vir Polsmo. Honorable souls. You're changing lives, like I hope to do. That is why when I got elected here, I was only going to go to the police portfolio. I've been fighting SAP since I was an activist. I chased Becky Chaley out of Mitchell's Plain in 2017 when a young girl got killed and he pulled up. There were 40 cars, but we got 13 vans for the whole of Mitchell's Plain. This is personal to me.
You speak of General Andre Lincoln. I want to be sure that it's the same general that I've read about. And you will confirm. General Andre Lincoln, a classified colored hero, unfortunately in a permanent hole in the cemetery, but his blood still speaks from the ground. He's a liberation struggle hero. He served as a high-level intelligence operative for Mkhonto Sizwe, risking his life to dismantle the apartheid state from within. He's the president's shield, handpicked by former President Nelson Mandela for his personal security detail. He is historically credited for uncovering and neutralizing an assassination plot against former President Mandela during the 1994 presidential inauguration. Former President Mandela appointed him in 1996 to lead the Presidential Investigation Task Unit. This mission was to hunt down the Sicilian mafia and investigate high-level rot between organized crime and the police. He was the first victim of state capture. Because he refused to be corrupted, he was targeted by the old guard generals and hit with 47 fabricated charges. He was hounded out of the police for 15 years, becoming the first historical example of the criminal justice system being weaponized against an honest investigator. Despite being framed, he fought a 15-year legal battle to clear his name, eventually winning an acquittal on all charges and returning to SAPS with his integrity intact. He was also the commander of the anti-gang unit in 2018. He was appointed to lead the first specialized unit to tackle the gang wars on the Cape Flats. He led from the front, becoming a symbol of hope for the forgotten communities of the Western Cape. Honorable Fadiel, is this the same General Lincoln that gave you advice?
That is but a glimpse of the man. General Lincoln was one of the finest men I ever met. I would have given my life for him. It's a sadness that I didn't get the chance to. I miss that bro. He was a big brother, he was a friend, he was an advisor. I mean, this is the man, this country trusted Mandela's life. They put Mandela's life in his hands. This is the man that stood side by side with me while other people want to protect FW de Klerk's boy. Think about this for a second.
Did what General Lincoln tell you is going to happen to the case dockets really happen?
I'm convinced that it has.
It's not just you saying it. We just heard proof or testimony from General Sentamule, who confirmed that these dockets were never seen by a detective or crime office, but ended up in General Jacob's safe. So this substantiates what General Lincoln warned you about when he said to you, they're going to cover this thing up. Is your submission based on that testimony and the fact that we know it's factual that those dockets was in a safe in Pretoria? Is your submission to the committee today that it's clear evidence of defeating the ends of justice?
Yes, it is, Chief. I also want to urge this committee, honorable souls, to ask the question, Who gave the instruction to Lieutenant General Jacobs to collect those dockets? Because he didn't wake up one morning and thought, let me go and collect case dockets. Someone gave him that instruction. Someone superior. I mean, it's not a long list, but this committee must ask that question.
As a member of parliament, sitting on the portfolio of police, you say that you asked for a list of generals not having security clearance from the National Commissioner, General Masimula.
Yes, Chief.
Did the National Commissioner ever supply that list to date?
In the minutes of the meeting, it is promised that they'll bring that list to the next meeting. They never did.
Is it your testimony that the National Commissioner Masimula lied under oath that General Kumalo's clearance was above board, as per your evidence in FAA1, suggesting it was fraudulent?
It is my testimony that General Kumalo's first security clearance was fraudulent.
But is it your testimony then that the National Commissioner lied under oath?
It is my testimony that the NASCOM lied under oath.
The case of the vanishing drugs, case number 111-2024 that you speak about, you inquired about a 100 million Mandrex bust that received no media attention. What is the current status of that case today?
The information on that case number refers to firearms. It does not mention drugs. It is something we cannot understand. We believe that the case has been tampered with, that the docket has been tampered with. We cannot prove this. Therefore, we are asking this committee to investigate.
Now, how is it possible that a clandestine lab bust resulting in 100 million worth of drugs now only reflects firearms in the case diary? How's that even possible?
With these people in charge of the South African Police Services, my leader, anything is possible. How is it possible that the SAPs bust 100 million rand worth of Mandrax and it's a media blackout? It's not mentioned on radio, it's not on TV, it's not in the print media. If they were to hit a Shabin today, Masimola would be throwing out the alcohol. We've seen the pictures. But they hit 100 million rands worth of Mandrax and they say nothing. And then 1 year later, Mandrax is not mentioned in the docket anymore. I tell you, as a man who understands police corruption, who in his younger days benefited from police corruption, I'm telling you that Mandrax made its way to your Aldos, to your Westbury's, and to your Cape Flats. I give you that guarantee. And I give you the further guarantee that there are policemen that unlawfully benefited from that.
What do you mean by that? That it was stolen by police and sold on the streets?
That is exactly what has happened.
Are you saying that the drugs that is imprisoning our children is made available by police?
Chief, the drugs that are poisoning a generation of our children is made available to these drug lords by the police. The guns which kill our children by the dozen a day is sold to the gangsters by the police. Look at the Colonel Prinsloo issue. 27,000 guns sold to the Cape Flats gangs. 27,000. And they let one policeman take the fall. One. And he got sentenced to 15 years and he served 7. And I asked the SAPs, why didn't you object to his parole? And we didn't get an answer. Now you tell me, how is it possible for 27,000 guns to be moved by one man? It was a network. And meanwhile, we're burying 10 children a day. And this is what is expected to go on.
You testify that PKTT members are living in a hotel purchased from the slush fund that is used as a washing machine. You say, you call it a washing machine. In other words, you are saying that is used for money laundering.
Money laundering and racketeering. Let me explain something to you, if you may. I know it's your time. The PKTT is housed in 5-star hotels, but they're still claiming for meals and SNTs. They're still claiming for meals and SNTs. How many hours must you work a month to claim 40,000 rands overtime? But they're claiming 40,000 rands overtime per month. And we are being asked by Kumalo, Masimola, and Mkwanazi to accept this. I don't believe that there are mad people on this committee. This committee should not accept that.
In your testimony, it was made to appear as if you're denying that some members are in the crime intelligence that are part of the PKTT, but you are actually saying that you do accept that some members are from the crime intelligence that are living at these properties. But what you are saying is, if I understand you correctly in your previous testimony, that the other members that are part of the PKTT, that's not part of crime intelligence, are also living allegedly at these venues.
That is 100% what we are saying, Chief. But you must also be careful of the semantics and the gymnastics that these people play with. Because I can tell you now that the raid on Vusikat Matlala's house was led by Lieutenant Colonel Kumalo, who is a member of the PKTT, not counterintelligence. Be very careful of how they play. We've learned how they play. We've been playing with them for 18 months.
What is the name of the general responsible for purchasing these properties from the slush fund?
In my opinion, remember, I'm not the investigator. It can only be Major General Ushaba or Lieutenant General Kumalo. Those are the two people with signing powers at crime intelligence, if my understanding is correct, and I believe it is.
What is your message to every colored child in this country watching you right now?
You. I was a shooter once. I hurt people. I was a robber once. I robbed people. I was a druggie once. For many, many years, I was addicted to it. It was sold to me. I didn't know it was supplied by the police. I didn't know the guns I held were supplied by police. I didn't understand the systemic issues. This carnage must stop by any means necessary. I'm tired of bearing 15-year-old boys. I'm tired of seeing sad mothers and paying for funerals. I believe we need better. I believe the Cape Flats, the Aldos, the Westburys, the Innerdales, they deserve better. But we're not going to get better with these people in charge. You know, people make fun of my past, but it's my past. It's the only past I have. But my past is a reflection of a million lighties here on the Cape Flats. And you know what I offer? I offer hope. I offer hope that you can get off your knees and you can stand on your feet. And if you work hard enough, you can make it here. You know, Biza, me and you, we weren't allowed here. We had to fight to get here. You know that the system is set up against us, irrespective of what anyone says. You know that a colored lighty has to dodge bullets on his way to school. Then he's got to dodge bullets on the way home again. Then you find out it's the African Police Service is supplying those bullets, and it makes me angry. And this is why when people ask me, what have you got against Mkwanazi? I got a lot against Mkwanazi. Because he's defending this. You know Cheslin Colby? You know Benny McCarthy? Wayne Roberts? We got a million like them. They're just not given the opportunity. I'm a proud man. I don't beg, but I will beg. I will beg for children whose names I don't know, that they be given an opportunity, that they don't have to dodge bullets. This is not what we fought for. Maybe one day they get it, but we're not going to get it if we don't fight for it. My message to any colored lighty out there is stay in school, respect your mother, and do what you need to do. And stay away from the drug dealers. There's nothing there for you. Thank you for letting me get that out there.
Honorable Adams, your presence here is the fulfillment of a mission started by your dear friend, the late General Andre Lincoln.
Amen.
General Lincoln was a man who survived the trenches of the struggle only to warn us that the police service he helped build was being eaten from within. He warned you that the dockets would move and the truth would be buried. Today, you have honored his memory. You have proven that whilst they can move a docket to a safe in Pretoria, they cannot move the truth once it is in the hands of the people's representative. Your spirit today is that of our Khoi ancestors, the first defenders of the soil. You carry the unyielding flame of Ashley Creel and Anton Franch, the resilience of Basil February, and the fierce sacrifice of Stanley Lowland, the fourth Ravonia trialist. Like them, you have refused to be silenced by a system that demands your compliance in exchange for your conscience. You have reminded this House that true oversight is not a press conference, but the relentless exposure of the rot that hides behind classified stems. Honorable Adams, you have done exactly that. You have brought the light of evidence into the darkest corners of our security services. You've been criticized for it. You've been called names. But here you are. You're still standing. On behalf of every colored child watching you tonight, I'm tempted to call you a hero with hope, but I won't do it because I don't want this moment to be messed up by people who don't understand what's happening here tonight. What I will settle for is a statement that we understand in the hood of Mitchell's Plain and El Dorado Park. Masagan is the last dawn.
Salute, Masakan.
And you know what? I believe in spiritual and divine moments. It's very ironic and very significant that this moment, I can feel it in the atmosphere, happens on the day that Gayton Mackenzie is born.
Selamat, Gayton. Selamat, Masakan.
And you know what? I want the whole country to know, as I conclude proudly, I said of Paul O'Sullivan, he is a hero with holes. But the country must know today, Gayton Mackenzie is my hero. Salute, Masakan.
Oh, yeah.
Awe chairperson. Only Paisan.
No, Chairperson. No, Chairperson. That's not the correct response. The correct response to Awe is Oya. Oya.
How do I respond, Honorable Adams?
Chairperson.
How do I respond to Awe?
You say Oya.
I say, oh yeah.
Oya. But it's you speak like the Japanese speak. It must come from your chest, not your throat. You know, it's a deep like Oya.
Oh yeah.
Now give me your money.
I must speak. I must speak like I'm Japanese. Honorable vessels,
Thank you,
You
Chairperson.
must start by saying hallelujah.
Sorry, Chair. May the record show I used less than 30 minutes.
Not a lot less. Thank you, Chairperson, and good evening, Honorable Adams. Just a few questions. There's a lot of issues that might seem very confusing if one listens to everything that's said and a lot of conclusions that's made and a lot of allegations and so forth at the moment. But I want us to zoom out and focus on the origin of why you are here, why you are testifying and were called to this committee. Am I correct that the reason is that on the 6th of July, during the press conference by General Mkwanazi, he said that politicians, and I think if I'm not mistaken, he specifically also said members of parliament are involved in cartels, criminal cartels, and protecting those cartels. Am I correct?
Yes, Chief, that is my evidence.
And then when he testified at this committee, he was then asked who he's referring to, and he then mentioned your name and he mentioned the Honorable Kola Barnard. Am I correct?
You are 100% spot on, Chief.
Do you think that he was referring to the two of you when he, at that press conference, said that there's members of parliament protecting? And I know it's just an opinion that I'm asking, but I'm asking your opinion.
When that press conference happened and I was watching it as it happened, I knew that he was referring to me. I did not know he was referring to Honorable Kola Barnard until he sat down here. So if you're asking me my opinion on the day, I did not know, I did not think for a split second that he was mentioning her. But I knew when he mentioned politicians that I was one of the people he was accusing.
Why? Because he was accusing politicians of protecting cartels. Are you protecting cartels?
No, Chief. But what I did is I pulled the lever that got his friends arrested. I could see through that press conference because I could see the lies and the holes in his story. And I said to myself, this press conference is called because of those arrests.
Let's for a second hypothetically assume that that a version is correct, and that version, as you know, or the explanation is that the PKTT, members of the PKTT, was also fighting organized crime, and as you know, also explained the raid that was done at Kat McClellan's house and so forth, and that is linked to drug syndicates and all of that. So if you were to do something to threaten or get General Khumalo out of the way, don't you think the assertion then is that you are protecting cartels by getting General Khumalo out of the way?
That would be 100% true, Chief, if they had done 1 day's worth of investigation into cartels. We know, as we sit here, that they've got no evidence of a big five on hand or on file because they've not done their job as crime intelligence.
Okay. But you did not open the case because you wanted to get General Khumalo out of the way, or did you?
I wanted justice. And General Khumalo is not the only person that I laid cases against. So I don't know if people need to think that to make themselves better, if people need to think that to hold on to their general's benefits, that's their issue. Fact of the matter is, I did what I felt I needed to do, and I do feel vindicated.
Because what you are being accused of is that.
Yes.
That you try to protect, you are responsible for this whole thing because you exposed alleged corruption that led to the arrest of General Khumalo, and that is actually hindering the the fight against these cartels.
100%.
But you are not guilty of that. Is that your evidence?
I don't think I fit the profile of someone that cartels would want to associate with, Chief.
Because I agree with the Honorable Malema that I personally do not see anything wrong with a member of parliament receiving information, taking it to the police, and having it investigated. So you did not get that information through some illegal channel. It was pushed through your door.
You know, Honorable Wessels, in our office in Mitchell's Plain, there's generally a stack of paperwork waiting for me, which people have come to drop off. Some of it involves indigent grants, some of it involves SASSA issues, some of it involves fraud and corruption. I've laid 8 cases of fraud and corruption in the city of Cape Town. Some of them will be before the courts soon. One of them is before the courts. I didn't lay my very first charge against General Khumalo. We've been fighting fraud and corruption for the last 7 years. This is not a new thing to us.
Okay. I think that's well established. Honorable Adams, there's just one thing that bothers me, and that is a lot of conclusions that you make, assertions that you make, that's not necessarily substantiated. Let me give one example. You earlier said that the reason why you believe that the grabber that was procured is redundant is because it is 4G technology in a 5G environment. Am I correct? But that grabber was purchased in 2017 with the NASRAC conference. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
At that stage, 5G wasn't in South Africa.
But you don't buy a 45 million rand grabber if you're only going to use it for 18 months. 5G entered South Africa less than 2 years later.
3-4 years later.
Well,
but you see, it's an assumption that you make.
No, I do agree. I do agree, Chief. But you do understand where I'm going with that.
I do understand, but you don't have evidence of it.
No, I don't.
Okay. The Mandrakes that you say is not mentioned in the docket anymore. How do you know that?
We have asked someone.
Who's we?
The NCC to look into it for us. Because we are concerned that no arrests are happening.
So you got access to the docket?
No.
But how do you then know that Mandrakes is not mentioned in the docket anymore?
Because we asked someone, what is the progress with that case? Because we were promised further investigation. Then this person came back to us because we don't see the docket and said, but are you sure this is the right case number? I said, it's the one in the minutes. They said, but this thing mentions firearms. I said, well, then the Mandrakes is stolen.
Okay. You also spoke on the hotels and that you're worried about that, or the hotel purchase. Do you know for a fact that that hotel is still being operated as an hotel?
That
or is it
hotel,
just a property that was bought, a shell?
the hotel was bought as a going concern. That hotel is operating tonight still.
Do you know that for a fact?
I'm telling you as a fact.
How do you know that as a fact?
Because this is the way they operate.
Yeah, but you see, that's not substantiating it.
But the Honorable Klopper, this is why in my testimony, I asked this committee to please subpoena the ledgers, and that will confirm it.
No, you make, I think you make intelligent assumptions. That's probable, but it's not necessarily evidence. And that's what worries me, because you're creating a little bit of noise that's deflecting away from why you actually, and what's the actual essence of the complaints that you laid based on information that you were provided with. But these other things are assumptions.
The complaint that I laid, Honorable Klopper, was against the purchase of the hotels.
Vessels.
I'm sorry, Wessel, because I'm looking at Klopper. So, Honorable Wessels, the complaint that I laid was because of the purchase of the hotels.
Honorable
No,
Adams,
I can see.
him is Honorable Vessels.
I'm sorry. So the complaint that I laid was against the purchase of the hotel. Because as per the documentation that I handed over to the chairperson, they had no right to buy those hotels. We were later reliably informed by a very disgruntled former member of SAPS, who I will not name, that the PKTT is staying there and that they are charging for it. So I'm saying to you that the case has been opened. The IGI has made a finding. I'm not reading the media reports. I'm reading it, but I'm not taking note of it. But it appears as if there is malfeasance there. So I'm asking this committee, if we are to get to the bottom of this, if we are to know who the real bad guys are, get those ledgers before Parliament and deal with that. If I am wrong, I will put my hand up and say I was wrong. But I'm saying this loudly, knowing that Kumalo and Masimola can't lay charges against me tomorrow morning because we'll have to have the ledgers in court.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Honourable
Honourable
Adams.
Klop.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairperson.